This is the iconic oven-baked cheesy crick snack you've always loved. And this, it's Cricks too. Can you spot the difference? No? That's because there isn't one. Cricks still has the same irresistible crunchy goodness, wrapped in a stylish new packet. Same delicious flavor, brand new look. So snack lovers, get ready to spot Cricks in the snack aisle. Cricks, same iconic taste, new stylish pack. Now in sharing pack size.
So, a brand new season dawns here in iRacing now with Velocity Esports Racing. This is your SIMAGIC 4 Series, and it's the best chance to get yourself in for an open-wheel thrill, as we'll get 5 weeks of racing action to go and crown a champion. My name's Jake Sperry, that's Craig King, alongside for company here as we set ourselves up here in collaboration with Motors Inc., with Intercomp, with Monster Energy, Brand Garage, Level Academy, and The Specialist. But for those who don't quite understand what today is going to be all about, we start here in Germany at the fabled Hockenheim ring. And if you haven't seen the Hockenheim ring before, here's a little guide to help you out.
Welcome to Hockenheim. Located just an hour away from the border of France, this is a German track whose nature has changed drastically over its history. Once an eye-watering blast through long straights in the forest, it has since been truncated to its current format. With 6 different layouts ranging between 2.5 and 4.5 kilometers, containing 13 to 16 turns, depending on which you choose, it's got something for just about every level of racing. This means it would fit everything from club cars up to Formula One. And that's perhaps what it's most well known for. One of the regular hosts for the German Grand Prix, it has been the scene of multiple dramatic moments, some triumphant, some tragic. Its redesign in the early 2000s gave it a few well-placed overtaking spots. The Parabolica entrance can create a good sneak attack, but even if you don't get it done there, the huge run towards the tight and slow Spitz curve is the place most well known for overtakes. If neither of those work, on rare occasions, Mercedes Corner can see drivers manage to pass one another. While the straights certainly aren't as long as the old version, it still requires a good deal of top speed to be competitive. But driver beware. Throttle control can often make or break your lap on the latter half of the circuit. All in all, German race fans can be assured to find great action no matter your tastes in racing at this fantastic venue.
Craig, what an incredible circuit. This will prove to be a 4.57 kilometer track, but one that is going to test every aspect of the drivers when you've got the new and the old, starting with the middle of the lap to the end.
Yeah, back in the day, you used to take the first corner and then go straight into the forest. But now you go through the Bernie Eccleston curve and then down the Parabolica at 5 to that very infamous Spitz curve hairpin at 6. That's going to be danger zone out there today. Get the braking point wrong and you end up overshooting the corner and maybe taking some drivers out. Has happened before in any sim, so you got to be careful there. Into the infield you go. Very nice mid-speed, high-speed corners here that then link into one another. It's a flat track. Lots of cambers, though, when you come to those stadium sections, 8 and 13, definitely. But then also, because it's an older track, Jake, those infield sections, very tight. Not a lot of places to make overtakes, so just be careful around here. You don't want to chop your wings off.
Survival is of the fittest as you look to try and set yourself into play. So keep that in mind as they'll go 2 races tonight, 25 and 15 minutes out there as we bring you the action here on iRacing with Velocity Esports Racing, courtesy of iStewards, who are out there playing race control here today, the way that you need to get all of your interaction out there as we get ourselves set for this qualifying. 12 minutes to go and set lap times, and they will have 3 laps to go and set them in. So they've got a lot of time. There's a lot of room to go with. And up at the top, it is the Maltese national champion here in sim racing, Dean Vella. Mika Mercieka is the one who is following up in line, 0.5 of a second back. And on his second lap, really attacking a driver's eye view here into the fabled Sachs curve.
Yeah, here's Mercieka going around now to the final few corners. Just want to link this all up right here as you get ready to go through the Sud curve to end the lap. Needs to find the barest of margins, really, when you think it's less than a tenth. May have just run a little bit wide there, but I think he's okay. The AstroTurf is good play there. It's not good enough to improve, though. Gonna have to try and find something on the final lap. Comes around the Ravenel curve to start, but here is Di Battista, and he is on a very strong lap at the moment. Just getting ready to finish their second lap.
So that second lap's going to be critical. De Battista knows that he is up there in pace. He is only a couple tenths of a second behind and does not improve on that effort. 3,000 slower. And this is a money driver out there running in the Project Aversio 13. Ryan Carabot looking to say, I'm going to be the one who stands up on Song and Ceremony. As he crosses, that second lap won't count with an off track. So one more attempt out there to go and get your top 10 at the moment, split by just under 4/10 of a second. There is currently about 6/10 of a second between the top 13, and it's my shock to see Adrian Manduka so far down the order. This guy in 13th place, the number 18 machine, Craig, I think's a title contender.
It's got a lot of pedigree. And it's also just a really tough car to get your head around. I know it's the I wouldn't say the slowest, but it's the basic of Formula cars when you think of the FIA open wheel ladder around here. And iRacing do have this car, and a very strong car to learn how to drive with. And it does keep yourself planted to see what you can do. Mikhail, what are you going to do this time, though? Goes around. That might be an off track. I think too much around the out final corner. It does count, but it's not quick enough. You can just see, you can push these cars a little bit, Jake, but you do have to be careful, a little bit tail happy if you get too much on the throttle.
Manduka's final lap, a 1:39.67. Good enough then to go to ninth only. Oh, De Battista's overcooked it, going through to the third curve, bang, into the wall. That will say that. Then for qualifying, Vela has everybody at an arm's length, but there are drivers like Sheldon Muscat, for example, who could jump up and does so in the number 14 to 6th position. He's another lightning quick driver in this field. They're all out here trying to prove what they've got. Carabot to the line, 39.6 won't improve. Mark Schembri currently on a 41 flat. He is going to be rooted to the bottom as far as it goes in qualifying. And as far as I look around, everybody done with about 4 minutes remaining here in qualifying. So I mark that as a field marked and complete. And the level that they're all going to at this point, there is no one big driver out there in front. Everyone is within a range to strike as far as 25 and 15 minutes are all to go about.
Yeah, and these are very tight times on a track that's very tough for overtaking Sands' opening section. And then you've also just got the fact that these F4 cars very happy to do pack racing, just due to their nature, that the aero does help them a little bit there to really go to work with these cars. So expect to see a lot of tails here, a lot of trains going on later through the race. And that could also just bring up the game of chess, Jake. Do you want to be leading early, or do you want to wait until the last moment to get into that lead? We just see Carabot just doing some more practice here, and well, he's got 3 minutes, and if they're allowing them to, why not? Get out there, get some more experience in if you're just trying to find that extra 10th, because realistically, look at the timing gaps. It was just a 10th off the pole position for him.
It's going to mean that this will be a very aggressive style of racing. They're going to be lining up overtakes. They're going to be looking for ways to get through. Jake Samet, who is up in 3rd position, is going to be someone to definitely keep in mind. And, of course, you've got the likes then of the Intercomp VMD boys, Kassar, Muscat, and De Battista, who are all going to be threats over the course of this season. But it might just be one where it's about getting the day to work the way that you need to, and the level just so close here at the Hockenheim Ring. And the Hockenheim Ring isn't a circuit that we traditionally note, Craig, for being one that has close times, because you get so many different types of profile of corner.
Yeah, you've got your sharp corners, you've got your slow corners as well. You've also got the high speed there. Really is interesting when you think about what you get with this car and you get with this track. It's not using F1 anymore. I wish it was. It's got a lovely flow to it. And even if you see it in DTM and also Porsche Cup, really such a nice track where it excels and it really gives the drivers, as far as the track that everyone uses to learn how to drive, I think Hockenheim is the track that you learn how to be quick around a track.
I think when we talk about the Hockenheim Ring, that there was a time where you'd say sacrilege that the Hockenheim Ring could fall off of the calendar. But in the modern day of Formula One, you very much do see that off the calendar, but it is still a very integral part of the German development scene out there for so many racing drivers, not just the German racing drivers, but the French drivers who like to come here, the Swiss who very much enjoy it. This is a circuit, Craig, that pretty much demands respect as you go through, because the name of the Hockenheim ring basically just sends a shiver down many a driver's spine.
Yeah, I mean, look at the accidents that have happened with people just over pushing it. You look at the DTM accident, the Porsche Cup accident. People do try to outbrake themselves here. They try to make those aggressive moves when they really don't need to, but they also know the urgency in those sort of races. And you'll see it tonight, because those races in the real world, they're about 25, 30, 40 minutes long. This is 25 and 15. 25 minutes, I'm predicting, shouldn't be too crazy. But we know it's sim racing, a 15-minute sprint. Well, one mistake and your race is done.
And so, with not much time on the board and their understanding that they've got a live race control with them as well, how will this play out in the long and the short here today? To start a season off, you've got to be on your A game, and that has been proven by qualifying trim out there. So as we are about 15 seconds away from the gridding process starting, why don't we take a little look over to that starting grid and see where everyone is going to be lining up today. It is the number 54, the national champion Dean Vella, who is in control, as Mikhail Murchieka will be alongside for company. Jake Samet and Ryan Karabot will house row 2 ahead of Sean Cassar and Sheldon Muscat in 6th position. Aaron De Battista just 12 thousandths back of that. Ilan Dimek Girshi in 8th position, as Brandon Bonello starts this one 9th, with Adrian Manduka in 10th.
Get to the second page, and Craig Caruana will be in 11th, and then it's George Paget in 12th. Steve Farrell will take 13th, and Paolo Cameri will take 14th. Then it's Denzel Agius in 15th, Jaden Elu in 16th. Mark Shembri rounds out the 17-car field for tonight's F4s around Hockenheim.
They will have 2 minutes to get themselves gridded up, or they can elect to start in a place known as pit lane, which will be a disaster for those who will look to try and navigate their way through in that regard. So there is going to be a lot to try and get through here at a very busy Hockenheim ring that has seen a lot of different areas about it make its note. The Porsche Experience Centre there on the inside. You've got the national run circuits out there. You've got the rallycross variant out here on iRacing. The long run up of the circuit we've got, and the even longer run that exists or used to exist of the old Hockenheim ring that raced right up into the Östkurve forest and back again as you worked on by. So that is going to set itself up with a mood, with understanding that today is going to be all about setting your championship aspirations into position. 2 races to get it worked. Second race, by the way, an 8-car invert as well, just to raise the stakes a little bit more, as Samet and Murchieka and Vella populate out there onto circuit right now. It's a 20-degree air temp, a 26-degree track temp. 25 minutes then, set themselves in motion. Let's get ready to race here on Velocity Esports Racing. Green flag drops and we're underway. Dean Vella gets a good start. Leading Karabot falls into line as the top 6 all put themselves into static position. Ilan Dimek fighting side by side through the Ravenel curve, as Brandon Bonello will look to get the launch around the outside over to Bernie Eccleston at turn 2, as Murchieka does not offer a move, because the best place to offer it, Craig, is coming up at the Spitzkehrer.
Spitzkehrer is where they will want to get a move. Everyone keeping very good. Aegeus already up 3 places. Not the best to start for Paget, I'm going to be brutally honest. Already down the field, but now you get to see what the drivers want to do. Side by side, will Vella and Mercia, will go. And the outside, never usually the strongest around here, tries to turn in. Delayed turning from Vella there, just holds everybody up.
It's very nice in terms of how that was set up then, as Cassar is there, Sheldon Muscat, De Battista, as they're still working here for Bonello and for Ilan Dimek, who are all sitting there into position, still with their side-by-side. There's the look for third on Jake Samet there. Ryan Karabot trying to sneak this one through 8 and 9, then working through the Mercedes section and over to turn 10. Here, this fast right-hander that comes off of the drag strip and into this Cold War arena section out there. It's allowed these top two of Vela and Mercieka to get away. Still refusing to yield here is Karabot. Samet's trying to do everything to shut the door, but he's prizing it open like it's The Shining.
And this is the problem. They can keep this side by side, and finally Samet gets that move, but now side by side, Caesar and Karabot as well. Look at the time they have lost to the leaders. And on a track like this, you need to be stuck together. Can he hold it around the outside? Oh, Sean, that's fantastic around the outside. It doesn't work. We're going to go 3 wide this early into the race. Muscat is just going to stay. Sorry, it's Di Battista, sorry. Just out of nowhere. It was Muscat, sorry. Almost comes together, and they're almost 4 wide here, Jake. And everyone's just trying to find their way through the track.
It becomes a case of 2 by 2 then as Muscat falls behind his teammate Di Battista, who looks for a run along the Parabolica. Now to 3 wide with Kassar and Karabot. It's side by side as well for the leaders. Mercieka again goes to the outside for it. Don't put it to 4. Please don't put it to 4. It's only 3 wide as they look for runs off the exit, and there are 3 wide off of the exit here somewhere. Craig Caruana, Ilan Dimek, Adrian Manduka is botched out right now as Karabot holds that 4th. Big wide line being taken here, trying to fend off the line. Di Battista again going to that outside track to try and sneak up the inside. This race suddenly became top 3 and everyone else.
Yeah, top 3 and everybody else. I've never seen the animals go 3 by 3 before, but we had 3 wide going down to the hairpin twice there. Never seen anything like that before, but the drivers all trying to use this slipstream, and that's something you need to learn in these cars. And when you're still having to just get to grips with them, and you have to realize that slipstream is strong, so you've got to use it to your advantage, not to go for the aggressor here. But now you can see, the moment Samet got away from this battle, he's just gone, and he's caught up to the top 3. Brilliant drive, remember. Vela continues to go faster.
Troubles on the opening lap for George Parsh. We'll take a look at what has happened here on the opening lap. It was with the 17 into turn 2. Now, does he just get front tyre to rear tyre? Yeah, he looks to shut the door. And ultimately, you've got to leave some room. And lucky he didn't take out one of the Avercio cars there that was working through of Denzel Agius then. That could have been a lot worse than it was as far as an incident goes. Sean Kassar then in the Intercomp VMD orange, trying to get past his Intercomp VMD blue teammate then, or out there in his sister car, and trying to find it. Vela marks it well. Look at this for an up and under. Mercieka in the Avercio, number 97, gets a lovely launch as he tries to go and make this move and say, look, I can go and make it happen. There's troubles at the back as Brandon Bonello is around down at the hairpin, but critically, Vela has held station. But look at Mercieka. Widen these lines, try and maximize the circuit, forced to the outside on the defensive pivot by Dean.
Yeah, Mercieka really forced him there to go defensive, and it meant that he rubbed a lot of speed off those tires because he went slash and hard to the right away as he came out of that infield section. But it did not help, and now Mercieka trying to just really apply the pressure in these slower sections. And I say they're slower because they're not the high-speed straights that we get. It's that classic infield. But that was actually there back in the old days, that section. Back it was the forest. You'd come back into the stadium. You'd come to that, and it just shows that even nowadays it's tough to go. Look who's fastest though, Jake. He caught up to the battle. Jake Stammert out of nowhere, really using that free space and clean air he's had since he got away from Karabot to his advantage.
Mark Shembry is out of the race. He has been run up the back by Steve Farrell. So there's been the big troubles out there for Brandon Bonello. In his incident, he lost it all on his own. Then over at the Spitzkehrer, and I will love to see a replay of that as Mercieka remains close, and it's 3 to the front. Jake Samet with perfect eyes on it at this moment of Mercieka's struggles then of trying to get by. He can't quite see himself to a way of making it work. Farrell's had to pit for a new front wing off of the damage that he's had, so here comes the look to the inside at 8. Not gonna quite get there. They're gonna have to remain rank and file.
it just tightens up a bit there. Let's have a quick replay as well. I think we got time. This is what happened to Bonello. And I do wonder if this is just going to be just another hairpin moment. Tries to go around, loses it on his own, and everybody, it's a very tough to check up in time when you see people checking up, but oh yeah, people, it's a blind hairpin corner there, Jake, and that's a big problem you get there is you want to get going again. And well, the rules do stay in motor racing. Just wait till everyone's clear. And I think drivers getting a little bit hasty on that rejoin.
It looked like one of those car games where you got to try and get the taxi out the other side, basically. By the time they got through the middle of it, tough to go and deal with. Out of the Ravenel curve and charging up, Sean Cassar with the fastest lap of 139.5 out there. That was just a tenth off of his fastest time that he did in qualifying as he looks to shadow Ryan Carabot for position, but they know that they are working hard in this secondary group because they've still got 2/3 of this race to go and gather back that time, and it'll be easier when they start battling at the front and saying, look, we want the points, we want the places, and we want to be up there scrapping with everything we've got. Murcieka again offers the run to the outside, can't quite get there. Cassar now goes for it on the outside, and he might get a run here on Carabot as here comes Jake Samet with a run on Mika Murcieka. He's going to pick that one off pretty comfortably.
Murcieka took a bit too much of that sausage curve coming away from the Spitz curve, and you see there right behind as well, Cassar getting the overtake and just taking that to advantage, and been waiting for someone to make that move because going into the Spitz curve and then trying to make the move there, a little bit risky. If you can set it up for that first arena section through into 8, 9, and 10, really feel that that's a nice way you can keep the flow. Because that first kink is high speed, you're not having to lift. You've got the downforce in these cars, so the driver's really using that to their advantage. Di Battista, he's still waiting, but the times were good last time, Jake. Cassar was half a second faster than the top three. If they make mistakes like that, though, they're not going to be able to catch up. Look at the timing tower, or look at the times when they come around again. The 39.9 from Vela. Now, what has Cassar done as Aegeus has unfortunately gone around?
Yeah, Denzel Agius on his own just catches the same curve that was caught there by Aaron De Battista, and instead he goes around where De Battista can hold it. So Agius with a lot to try and figure out after that moment as he tries to get back up through the order. Remember, top 8 is the invert. Craig Caruana is in that 8th place with Adrian Manduca bubbled at 1.2 seconds. Here comes another run from Murcieka to the outside. Samet, though, takes the draft from Dean Vela as they work on into the Spitzkehrer, and I think that's really clever by Dean, running at the front, from example, giving the driver in second the toe to say, look, I want as much side-by-side as possible. It gives me more chance to break away. Murcieka's not going to take this back lying down here as the two Aversio cars fight amongst each other. No chance for the move then to happen at 8, but Samet has got to set his eyes forward, and that's the key.
Yeah, and I think that is well what Murcieka's doing at the same time, because there's no point fighting right now when you've got another 15 minutes left of this race. If you want to make sure that you're with Vela, just stay here. You don't need to be the aggressor at the moment. And you saw that Mikel's taking very interesting lines. He's taking the normal racing line while everybody else is taking different lines into that Spitz curve. We got another replay in the background, and that was that spin that we saw from Denzel earlier on. Too much of that outside tire just catching the end there of the Sud curve.
Yeah, just a tiny bit of tyre makes all the world's worth of difference, and you will see that time and again that you've got to try and maximise this circuit, but at the same time respect its bounds and boundaries that are there and in play. 1, 2, 3 at the front, and this might feel like a waiting game. This might be a case of can you get the launch that is necessary. Again, Jake Samet looking for this run and not willing to go all the way over to the left-hand side, the path of least resistance, doesn't want to offer up the inside, and now Jake Samet is planning to pinch Dean Vela to that right-hand side. He's not going to let him have the corner the way he wants to. He moves to take his natural line in, and he gets up in 2 tyres, making contact with 2 more. That opens up for Mika Murcieka. They are getting cheeky in the way that they are battling right now. I have never seen an open-wheel car defended like a tin top.
Well, this is the home of Tin Tops. Remember, we've got the Porsche Experience Centre right there, so what better way
Oh,
than
Ryan!
doing it
Ryan
well?
and Sean, Ryan and Sean. Ryan Carabot has leapfrogged over the top of Sean Cassar, and both of them demoted out the top 8.
It was just a harmful moment there. I think just the understeer there from Carabot just caught him up there, and that caused a lot of issues there because it also just packed everybody up. They've gone down the order. They've gone down 4 places down the order. So that's given these 3 a little bit of breathing room because Di Battista is leading that other pack now. And, well, with all due fairness, I think Di Battista's only matching these 3 in times. So they've got a little bit of breathing room right now at the front. And did you see what Mikel did last time, Jake? He tried to go for the move and he realized he couldn't and he lifted.
Yep, so he's now playing long game with it. Let's see what happened then between Sean Cassar there and also Ryan Carabot. Carabot has damage now to the front wing, and that makes a whole world of difference. So it's a big dive to the inside. You can see the glow of the brake disc, front to rear wheel, tags around, and Sean Cassar nowhere to go, up and over. Thank goodness the halo device was there.
Yeah, it was a good thing, and you can just see just a little bit too aggressive, a little bit of understeer as well, try to turn around. Turn it into the corner, did not work. And we're going to see this from Samet. Oh, he's gone in too deep. He's gone in way too deep there. He's lucky to hold off where he is. Very good, just touching the wheels once again with a very nice hold. But the moment I saw him go for that, I thought he broke a bit too late there, and we almost went 3 wide. Still trying to hold this, and you can see that Vela has to give the respect here. Are we going to see the safety again? Lock up from Vela. No, but Mikel Murkieka right there to pounce on it. But the long way is the path of most resistance. Can't get it.
Murkieka is going to be staring at this going, how on earth have I not found this move? This is looking like it's going to be a spin wide and into the walls there. So that is a hefty shunt into the barriers, which I think has just marked the end of Mark Schembry's run then in this race. So he'll be looking to try and get points from the back in the next one. And now interesting to note is Jaden Elul here, who has now got through with Sean Cassar onto Ryan Carabot, who's dealing with the front wing damage. So that for the invert looks very tasty as far as it goes. Still your 3 here. Adrian Manduca now with the fastest lap of the race in 7th as he's caught the back of Craig Caruana, Sheldon Muscat and Aaron De Battista.
They've managed to get almost over half a second this pack to the leaders. Just with that small moment there going into turn 8. So it just goes to show you that if you just make the wrong moves, you're going to have a little bit of time lost here. So I wonder if Manduca's going to probably go for this. I don't think Craig's going to make the defense. He does do a little bit of a defense, but is he just trying to set himself up for some late braking into Di Battista? In fact, Di Battista's been spooked. Calling the Intimidator, Manduca just spooked. Not Di Battista, sorry, it was Muscat.
Yeah, same colour livery out there, makes life very difficult. Look at a switch back move, trying to get through for Jake Samet. He's trying everything here to get past Dean Vela. He's trying to be as much of a nuisance as possible, and he just can't quite find the clearance. Now he's going to get blocked all the way over to the right-hand side. Big switch back left as they now enter through this section. Murkieka's going to get a monster run here. It forces the side-by-side to the Sachs curve. Murkieka, no room at the end. Now working for this outside line. This is some pretty intense stuff between these two. They work here through the motordrome over towards that second contact between the top 2, and it's going to be Samet who loses out. Murkieka scampers to the lead. Vela second. Now De Battista enters the scene.
Vela's got to slow down to serve as well, and I think that was just, it was hard racing, fair racing, but I think there was just that overlap that just caught them both out. Vela does serve that slowdown. How far down has Samet gone down the order? Down into 7th now for Samet. Got a big drive to go, but that incident has just made this a de facto 6-car train now. It doesn't look it, Jake, but trust me, it's 6 cars out there, but Caruana's just missing out, so let's just get a blanket, cut it in half and call it 4.
4 and 2 out there, 1.1 the gap, but now here comes the look to try and get back into second here from Aaron De Battista on the sister car then of Dean Vela, repping the orange Intercomp VMD colours out there compared to the blue of Aaron De Battista, with Andrew Manduca just behind Mikel Murkieka. And I tell you what, Murcieka is proving that he's got race pace rather than quali paces. Here is Sheldon Muscat straight down the inside. He's not going to have any arguments there with Craig Caruana. A comfortable pass. Let's see what happened, though, for the race lead between Dean Vella and also with Jake Samet. They had been fighting and scrapping intensely into the right. Are you going to get the overlap? No. And ultimately there for Jake Samet, I think he's desperately unlucky because he was trying to box Dean Vella out.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with you there. He did a really good move to get that ready around for the soot curve. But didn't get to the soot curve in time, and it was just one of those that had that speed because he was on the inside line. He had the quicker line around the track, but he just washed out a little bit when he was trying to play that little block, and I think that was what undid him there. Vella, unfortunate there, and it's tough in these open wheelers to really see what's in front of you because you can't see the nose. You see it in front of you, but you can't see anything under. You have to go by your depth perception when it comes to the wheels of the car. Even in a sim, you know, you've still got that issue. So it was very tough. Probably a racing incident. I'm not entirely sure. I believe that had been an incident noted, but what help that's done here. Manduka's up 6. Di Battista is up 4. Fantastic. And Samet, well, he is in a prime position for the second race. If he stays here, little bit of interesting lines there from Manduka and Di Battista. But look, they're all playing it nice and calm now.
Yeah, they understand that they don't want Sheldon Muscat and they don't want Craig Caruana, so if they can build the gap now, they have license to fight at the end of this race. This has been 18 minutes of hard-fought racing. Now, here comes Craig Caruana to the outside, trying to get the VMD machine moving here. These two deciding we're going to have a fight amongst ourselves, and they can't seem to make anything of that happen, so that's going to be as it is. Sean Kassar as well on the bubble under pressure from Jaden Alul, who started this race back in 16th place and has gained 7, your biggest mover in the field.
Like you said, sometimes it's not about the qualified pace, it's your race pace, and I think that's what we've seen with Jaden, but he's just still got to get that done, trying to see if he can make the move. What's Manduka looking to do? Looking to just stay with everybody right now as we're coming to the business end of this race. Remember, 140 is the average lap time around here. 6 minutes ago, you can do the maths yourself. We're coming to the business end, and I will not be surprised if we see one of these drivers look to be a little bit of an aggressor here as Di Battista almost runs into the back of Vella there, not on purpose. Just goes to show drivers taking different braking points as the track is heating up a little bit. It's only 26 Celsius, but that's enough just to throw you off if you're not prepared for it. And nobody's looking for the moves. Everybody's on the defense.
Yeah, all the way to the right from Murcieka. So Vella and Di Battista fan out to 3, but does this offer down the inside something for Adrian Manduka? Now they'll go to 2 by 2 as Caruana and Muscat continue their scrap. Dean Vella to the inside then of Mika Murcieka for position. They'll lunge into turn 8, which seems to be the place where you're going to get it done and dusted. And now look at how it opens up for Aaron Di Battista. Tries on the outside. Doesn't quite get the launch through the corner, so look at what it opens up then. Adrian Manduka wants him, but the toe again blocks the run here. Past the Porsche Experience Centre and to the Sachs curve. Camilleri is around now in the number 23, and that's going to cost him a shot of fighting for the top 8.
Just an unfortunate moment going around him. Notice how no one tries to go for this in the Sachs curve because of the camber on that corner, but every time one of them makes a mistake, the other car is waiting to pounce, and unfortunately it's just too tight. The areas are too tight to really force that moment out there. Here's the other battles going on in the field. This is for 5th and 6th place, or 7th place. Samet, sorry, just absolutely catching Caruana napping around the outside of the Ravenel curve. Fantastic Samet. I would have preferred staying in 7th there, Jake, because that would have given him the front row for the sprint race.
Yeah, but you lose points, and that's the key. You've got to get the points back, and that's what Jake Samet's doing. He's trying to get his points out there as he was fighting near the front. Now for the side-by-side. Here goes Dean Vella to the outside against Mika Murcieka. Can he find the way that gets this one down the outside to get it to work? It's flat through the Spitzkehrer. You try and drive it back. Still fall to the floor there. Muscat, Samet, Caruana trying to come back 5th, 6th, 7th with Kassar and Alul, 8th and 9th. They're not there either. Now side by side to the outside. Tries Dean Vella this time. Mercieka again shepherds him down an avenue that says he can't get there. This is going to be all about, I think, final few laps, Craig, about who wants this more, because they're all showing they want passes. These drivers all showing control, but a lot of aggressiveness.
But no commitment, and as I say that, Vella's gone into the sacked curve and just gone for that. They're going to be side by side, and we know what happened last time Vella was side by side. He just got caught out, and he allows Checker to just hold on and still try to go. He had so much momentum. Momentum's the name of the game, but as I was saying, Jake, none of these drivers have that commitment. They want to be aggressive, but none of them are showing the commitment to finish that move behind. More battles going on. Are we going to see another move around the outside? Muscat defends around the outside. That would be a slowdown. It's not a slowdown. It's just the 1X. Muscat gets away with it.
Yeah, he builds a big margin, and now Caruana in the bottom of your screen lunges for the inside. This is an attempt to get up to 6th place from 7th, and now here comes Aaron De Battista trying to run forward, but he gets no toe from Mercieka. Dean Vella now looks to try and move here to this one. I think you're going to see guys everywhere. It's a 17-car field where they're battling in every corner of every lap of every point of this race. This is brilliant. Still now you've got the side-by-side in the top. Bottom of your screen, Samet gets an elbow out against Caruana. That brings Sean Kassar to the party. Here comes the move for second. De Battista wants in. He wants through. He can't get there. Nowhere for Manduka to look.
We're going to get a 3 or 4 wide going down to the hairpin next lap, aren't we? Now they're going to have to start and throw everything. I think they've done everything but the kitchen sink, and they probably need to find the kitchen sink to be able to throw that, because this part of the track, it just tightens up a bit too much, and they're too far away from each other to really look for some moves. Nothing happened. That whole 3 wide in the second package didn't really attribute to anything, really. Samet still holds, and I say that. Craig Caruana, how have you just done that? And off the track goes Jake Samet.
And that's going to put him on the outside looking in 9th place. He worked for it to the inside, got spooked off the line and had a massive amount of oversteer that's dropped him into play. Manduka wants in, but now they know and sit. They're going to be on the final lap of this race, and who's going to do what? Steve Farrell now out here, and that's going to drop him to 16th. But where are you going to find this angle? Where are you going to find this pass? And Dean Vella has been playing for a gap to go and attack. He's finally got exactly what he wants out of this situation, and I think they realise for the invert just how critical this is going to be. He closes up as for 3rd behind. It's going to be side by side for Adrian Manduka. Now to the outside, tries the reigning Maltese national champion. Not going to get the pass done on the outside line. Well fended there by Aaron De Battista. He's happy for it. It's getting chipper between Caruana, Kassar and Alul as Caruana holds his place. But over to turn 8 here and the Mercedes Arena section. Can you find the line that is necessary? You're now looking towards the half chances, the quarter chances. If you're going to get this done, 3/10, the gap that's there. Caruana still having to fight with Sean Kassar, who labels one to the inside and then tries to get what he needs going on to this section. Vella still a quarter of a second, still can't find the angle. In the bottom right, Kassar gets a tag and ultimately tries to keep the throttle in, but it's not going to be enough to hold it. Now in through the final couple of corners, Mika Mercieka, coolest head in a room full of pistol shooters. That is a magical battle to win this first race.
Caruana's just had a moment. He just got taken side by side. He was going with Jaden Ewell. Jaden Ewell's going to hold that position, but that's going to be a questionable dive. That does, however, put Samet into 8th place on the transfer. What an up and down race it has been there for Jake Samet, who, remember, at one stage was battling for the lead.
Wasn't on that move from Jaden Alul, and I'm sure that race control will have a look at that one over at the end of this race. My oh my, what a race we have had to start things off. We got another 15 minutes, reverse the top 8 and just make it even more condensed. Mika Mercieka in 25 minutes and 9 seconds gets the job done and wins by 2/10 over Dean Vella, and Aaron De Battista then in third, gaining 6 places over the course of that first race was Adrian Manduka, who finishes fourth ahead of Sheldon Muscat, Sean Kassar and Jaden Alul. Jake Samet, by proxy of the spin late for Craig Caruana, is going to get then the pole for the next race, as Brandon Bonello would finish 9th and Ryan Carabot with front wing damage labours to 10th.
Well, Craig Caruana unfortunately does finish in 11th, and Denzel Agius will be in 12th. George Paget will be 13th. Ian Grixey will be 14th, with Paolo Calmeri in 15th. Steve Farrell 16th. Mark Shembry, well, didn't have the best of times out there. Needs to get some wing repairs and more. Finishes in 17th.
So that's your field as far as it goes. They've got another race to set themselves up with, but Craig, for those who are here for the first time watching what the likes of this SIMAGIC F4 series is all about, I think that is the most wonderful sense of what this championship is and can be. Lights out battling, just aggressive natures of posturing, trying to go and get these moves, but never a guarantee that a pass can be made until it is all over.
No, and you could see the drivers, they were trying to make the moves, they had the runs, just couldn't execute, and that, I think that also caused what we saw at the end of that race as well, with Caruana getting a little bit unlucky there with a move that was definitely not on there. Drivers getting a little bit desperate, they thinking that they could go for it. I think the best way you said it, that was tin top defending in an open wheeler. I've never seen that before, but the drivers had to try and do something different on a track like this. That slipstream really was proving strong, and I think the drivers realized that 2 laps in, because everything changed after 2 laps. Did you notice that? And I think we're going to see a lot of that when it comes down to the rest of the season.
But you take 10 minutes off the clock and invert the top 8, that's going to add a lot more fire to what seems to be, at least after 25 minutes, an already steaming hot pressure cooker.
I mean, if that's a pressure cooker, I don't know what you call this. This would be my pressure cooker. I think this is almost like it's a volcano ready to just go, because this is going to be very chaotic. Usually, you see sprint races, then feature races. This is feature, then a sprint, and I think the sprint really is the place that the drivers will let their hair down. It's going to be a different mentality for some of these drivers. We've seen the wait and see. We're not going to see the waiting anymore. We're going to see what they want to do. Don't be surprised, and I hate to say it, we see a couple cars in the wall after lap 1.
Well, they will note that they head themselves over to race 2 right about now here with Velocity Esports Racing, as we will get ourselves set on with how they will line up. So on that pole position will be Jake Samet, as he will line himself up, and he will note in second alongside him will be Jaden Alul. It will be Sean Kassar who will go from 3rd position, which will lead then to Sheldon Muscat and Adrian Manduka, who go through 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Aaron De Battista is 6th, as 7th belongs to Dean Vella. Mika Mercheka will have himself going from 8th place. Brandon Bonello and Ryan Carabot, your 10.
We quickly get to the next 7, because Craig Caruana will be 11th. Denzel Agius will be 12th. George Paget will be at 13th. And then it's Ian Grixey in 14th. Paolo Calamari will be 15th, and Steve Farrell 16th. Mark Shemby will be on his own on row 9th and 17th.
They only have a minute to grid, so hence why we've had to run through that pretty quickly, just waiting for Carabot now to get onto the grid, and he has managed so. So get yourself set again. 15 minutes, 10 less on the clock. Jake Samet now looking to try and run quick at the start of this race, build himself a gap. Green flag in the air, and we're underway for the second and final time tonight. Once more, they're going to fall into line. Merchieka will have to fight with Dean Vella into turn 1 here, the Ravenel curve. They'll keep it side by side. A little struggles through. Too wide it's going to be, up to Bernie Eccleston as Sean Kassar looks to try and get this launch through. Needs the pass quickly, gets the pass quickly.
I'm surprised at that. He did not have the best of launches off the line. I saw a bit of wheel spin, but he was able to just take advantage of the drivers just being a little bit touchy and soft on the cold tires. And That's helped him a little bit here. Everything happening right behind, though. 2 wide, almost 3 wide. We are getting 3 wide as well. I think that's Muscat, that's Vela, and that's Manduka, all trying to see what they could do. Someone's gone a bit too wide, and it's actually Jaden Yule, who had a fantastic start. He's gone it back into third, and we've still got the 2 wide.
Yeah, Alul's really gone deep in. He's got away with it, but they're still trying to figure out where do they want to be. Muscat and Manduka, a tale as old as time between those 2 rivals out there. You've got the likes of De Batista and Murcieka, as Murcieka goes then by on the board with a live look at Mikhail at the moment, and I think he's really trying to settle himself down and say, right, let's have some calm, and there's contact between Manduka and Muscat, and that's going to send more troubles across the circuit. Bang! Hard into the wall on the right side. Huge hit for Brandon Bonello. His suspension ruined.
We said it, didn't we? We said that probably could have happened, and unfortunately it wasn't. You could see there in Mukieka's face. He knew he got lucky with that, because for a moment he thought he was getting caught out in that. I reckon he was about 20 centimeters away from losing his wing there. He got lucky, and what that's done, that's helped a lot of drivers up right now. Caruana already up 3 places. Paget's up 4 as well, and they're still in the queue. Something we didn't see last time, Jake. Everyone's staying in a single file line at the moment.
It's good to see George Page making recoveries through after a very tough race 1 here tonight. But as far as they set in this feature, they know they've got to make time. They know they've got to do so quickly, and they know they've got to break away. A little under pressure now from Dean Vela, who's on a must-make pass at 9/10 of a second behind the lead. Massive defensive line, but he'll tiptoe through the tightrope here. Will Dean Vela? Oh, that is so sweet. Or they pass. He was left 1 car away, and he's gone and got it. And not only that, Murcieka is going to follow on in tow, and now here comes Aaron De Batista to look to try and make this pass. A look then at Jaden Alul right now, who realizes he is straight out of the frying pan into the fire with the best of the best here in Malta, making passes. Karabot to the outside, gets squeezed. Now here comes Caruana for 2.
Jaden is really looking flustered there, and I can see that's the type of face I'd be making right now on an opening lap, on an opening start of a race like this. It's just absolute carnage, left, right, and centre. You've got to be honest to him. He did shut the door there on Vela, but he left the dog flap open, and that was unfortunate for him, and that allowed Vela to go through, and it's just set this moment off. Caruana finally goes. We have a say. Caruana on the sausage curb survives. We have a say, Jake, in sim racing, don't we? The cork in the champagne
no
bottle.
Way. No way.
Trying
to go 3 wide. There's 1 car off in the background. They tried to go 3 wide. It's 2 and 2. It's Ilan Dimek in the barriers, and it's going to have to be 1. Avoiding on the outside. Ryan Karabot had to back out. Steve Caesar Farrell has gone around, but Ryan Karabot had to get out of the way from the 2x2 wide then as they worked through, because George Page was saying, I am coming through, and there is nothing you can do about it.
That was probably a bit too aggressive to try and force a 3 wide there. We almost had a 4 wide, but that just goes to show, we were talking about it, cork in the champagne bottle, and you can just see what that's done. These drivers have lost the front of the field as Jaden still looking to try and defend here. Caruana's going to be careful. He's got to slow down to serve, and he can't make that move. He's finally served it, but that's going to cost him a lot of time there as he's going to be losing out. Have to slot right back in here, right behind Page. Gets it done. We'll probably look for another move here. Can't get it to Page, almost goes into the back of Jaden Yule. That could have been a big one.
Yeah, locked up and inside front, and that ultimately gives the chance again to Caruana with Manduka there, with Ryan Karabot. They've missed the train here of those nearer the front. They've missed the train of the De Batistas, the Murciekas, the Velas, the Cassars, the Samats. And now, here is the look to the inside. Caruana gets the pass done. Page can only watch at that one as Manduka studies in tow as they go through. Let's go look at a replay here as they now set themselves off in through with what is 2/3 of the race to go. This was Brandon Bonello, and there's the contact then through the corner in front of him between Manduka and Sheldon Muscat, and Bonello's just the one on the scene who realises he's unlucky, but we know what we say, Craig. Last one in the scene pays insurance.
Yeah, and wouldn't we be paying the insurance there as well? Just we went to replays where Jaden Yule had a spin around the sud curve. And that's just lost him out a little bit. But we've got a little bit of a 2x2 here at the moment. The buddy system, the best system. As Mercia, trying to get this move. Miguel needs to try and do this on Vela. I feel like we've seen this before. We'll have to try and do this around the outside. Very tough, and in fact, almost free wide as Di Battista comes into it. But this switchback really has been working well for the drivers. Can Miguel make this work right now? No, but he knows if he doesn't get this move done quickly, Jake, Kassar and Samet is right ahead and starting to pull apart.
Very stoic there is Mercieka as De Battista works to the outside. That's not stoic. There, the way he had to soar away at the wheel to try and save it there. His breath hitched up in his throat as he tried to keep a hold of it. It's cost him the one place to De Battista, but critically on that pass, it does now mean the group is 2.2 behind Samet and Kassar. And because they're not battling, and this group is, they can kiss goodbye to a top two. I think they're fighting for one spot on the podium.
I agree as well. I do agree. This is definitely now just a battle for that podium spotters. Here's that move we're talking about, Jaden, there, just taking that sausage curb, and you don't realize how lethal the raised anti-cut curbs are, or the anti-cut little things you've got there are, and that just goes to show just one wheel just completely losing the grip there, spinning around, and Mercieka was looking again. Well, Bernie Eccleston promoted overtaking, Jake. I've not seen an overtake in his corner yet today.
No, I haven't either, because I think they all understand here that they want the run on the Parabolica to the Spitzkehrer. That's where you're getting the job done. And Mercieka now moves over to that right-hand side, looks to try and siphon fourth position away here, and on the brakes, he's going to comfortably get that pass. And I think he'll also understand right now his job is to try and hunt away and get back to that lead group. You saw Jake Samet there trying to weave about on the straight, shake Sean Kassar off of him at half a second, but De Battista's not done. He looks again back to the outside, doesn't have any overlap as he works into turn 8, and in that group behind is Caruana and Karabot, who are side by side, and Manduka's going to make it 3 off the exit. 1, 2, 3, the Karen plays, but Karabot has the place.
They almost were like a Newton's cradle there for a moment. I thought we were going to see 1 or 2 of them go off there, but Karabot holding that move on Caruana. Great little move there, a little bit dangerous. Manduka, well, almost found himself without a wing after that, but he has got a bit of a busted wing and more slide. He's got a busted wing as well as Karabot. Didn't he have a busted wing in the first race? He did, and look what that downforce is, well, lack of downforce is doing to him right now. The grip's not there on the front. The front wants to be twitchy on the straight. He is a wounded animal.
Yeah, there's Jake Samet's view of things right now in the dark for Project Aversio as he fights his way through. A lot of steering momentum that goes on by using the middle finger to go up through the gear shift out there to shake Sean Kassar off. That's not working for him right now. And I do want to know, Karabot had the damage on the nose itself in race 1. It's right wing for him. Behind him, Adrian Manduka. It's left wing that's pointed up the wrong way. But right now, I'd sit down and say they are top 2 side by side. The third side by side, Vela just, I would say, shepherds Mercieka away. Aaron De Battista there running through, and it's a difference between Samet and Mercieka of upright set position versus the boated seat position down led in the cockpit.
I prefer the GT myself, but everyone to their own. Caruana did get past Karabot as well. We're looking at it right now. Now, if you've got a broken left part of your wing and he's got a broken right part of your wing, can you bind it all together? I don't know. They've made a mistake, though. They're going to go 3 wide. And we got the picture-in-picture as well, as that is Page making his way up the order in the picture-in-picture. Lead, though, is continuing on side by side. Kassar, well, it's not the same orange and black car we saw earlier, but it is the same team. And Kassar trying to make that move on Samet.
This is what the 2 biggest teams in Malta want to battle it over for in this. It's Intercomp VMD Simsport in second, leading this one outright, Project Aversio who have themselves then a very happy scenario, but they have just cost themselves a few tenths then to Dean Vella through all of that battling, and Murcieka there and Aaron De Battista, they all want to try and go and battle for it, but I think Sean Cassar has realised with 5 minutes to go in this race, Craig, he wants to get to the front. He wants to start leading some laps. He knows it's gloves off, it's knuckle dusters on. Defensive move to the right-hand side using all of the circuit to defend. And Cassar, again, just can't get the angle he wants.
And neither can Mikhail Murcieka as well. Just can't get it done. This switchback, this over and under, which is almost like the normal racing line, it's not been working for some of these drivers. And they're having to be desperate around the outside of here. They almost come together. And in fact, I think they did bang the wheels there for a moment. No wing damage, but look how close that could have been. And Cassar, he's getting a little bit desperate here. I mean, in the right ways, of course, because he knows with just 3.5 minutes to go, he's only going to have 2 more shots at trying to get this lead.
Yeah, there's not long left here, and if you're going to try and figure this out, you're going to have to be really, really switched on as far as it goes to say, right, can I go and make this happen? Murcieka wants to put himself into the wheelhouse now to get himself up to 3rd, and I think he will sit himself back and say, okay, this is where the game is on, this is where it's afoot, can I go and make this work? But he's realising here, this is bigger than him. If those two in front continue to scrap, he's now got to try and figure out whether it's worth going for it right now here, Craig, or whether he's just got to sit back and wait for the final lap to make a move, because they could have a shot of victory if they play nicely.
Well, at the same time, you got to remember that these two are battling for the 1st and 2nd last race. So I do wonder if they're in different roles now. I wonder if they're going to try something different. The overspeed here from Murcieka works for him, but now he's got to try and get this done. And Vella takes a diagonal line there. Has he cut it in too much? No, the overspeed doesn't work there. What good this would be for either of them to get a P3. They've already got a 1st and a 2nd, or one of them has got a 1st, one of them's got a 2nd. If they can just get onto that podium spot for this race, that would be a great start to the season. 4th isn't too bad, but we know that points mean prizes, and they really, really want to get this 3rd place right now. And I think that Mikhail, he realizes he's going to have to wait and just apply some pressure.
Look, if he gets through, he knows that he's got the honours as championship leader heading out of tonight. I think he understands that, wants a look at the inside at the Sachs curve, has to think better of it there, as there wasn't enough for the overlap. They will set themselves up. They're doing 1 minute 40 lap times. There will be 1 lap to go, and Jake Samet has half a second in the back pocket. Ryan Carabot trying to find a way to 6th past Craig Caruana, and is not necessarily finding the way to get the job done. Broken wing and all. George Page and Adrian Manduka just can only watch this one then in this group as they try and figure out all of the measure of metrics between them. Samet though looks around, that's Page around then, and that's going to drop him out of contention then in that group. He just caught the Ravenel curve wrong on entry and just looped the thing around. Now comes the chance for the pass then, as Sean Cassar finds himself just a bit too far back this time. He'll need an almighty 10 to get it to work here, but he's going to elect away from it here at the Spitzkehrer. Outside line then for Murcieka, as De Battista now starts sniffing about. Can he find a way to 4th place late in this one? For the moment, it doesn't look like he has a way to go and do it. Again, he has a soiree over to that inside. That doesn't matter at this point. Got Carabot and Caruana then both still fighting side by side as well. As they figure it out, it's still going to be him for it. But look at Sean's run now as they enter for the final time this arena section. Looks for a way at the Sachs curve. Not going to get there. Jake Samet under so much pressure. There's a tag just to the rear diffuser, and Samet's got a gap now of a car length to go and hold with. Sean Cassar has done everything he possibly could, but Samet is going to hold his ground here from pole. Magical defensive work. Jake Samet takes race 2. It's 2nd for Cassar, and Dean Vella makes it parity between him and Mikhail Murcieka.
Going to be a quick run to the line as well between these three, but nothing happens as the Serpentine just stops it. Caruana, Carabot, and Manduka there. As Padgett, we saw, he recovered back into a P10 after what happened out there. No overtakes at the end, apart from that one mistake. One last battle just out here as well, because everybody needs to be coming in here. Bonetto and Elan Grixie, they're going to be side by side, and this is a nice little bit here. And look how calm he is, Jake. He knows it's silver points, but he's very calm as he's side by side.
Well, he knows he's had to use the fast repair to get here as Brandon Bonello, and on the inside, he's going to get pushed out wide. Is Bonello, he'll get back to the inside. He gets very forceful there with Alan Dimet Gierci there for that one, but Gierci keeps his foot in on it, and they'll work the side-by-side. Through this section, there's more contact, front to rear, and Bonello ultimately getting his elbow out and saying, nah, I'm going to go and get this place, and I'm going to hold on to it. So that's going to hold itself pretty well as far as they all look to get this one towards the end. Ilan Dimet, I think, is going to have to yield and say, white flag, I cannot do no more out there, as Brandon Bonello will win the race of the wooden spoon, as all finishers will be out there on the lead lap as they go. Confirmation of result in the 15-minute feature. Jake Samet from pole. He didn't even lose the race lead once out there, as he held just at bay Sean Kassar and Dean Vella, who ends up in the final spot on the podium. Mikhail Mercheka will be in fourth ahead of Aaron De Battista and Craig Caruana, with Ryan Carabot in seventh ahead of Adrian Manduka. Jaden Alul with a very hectic and I would say anxious race in ninth, as George Pardge would spin, which would put him down to 10th.
Onto the second page, Paolo Calamari will be in 11th, up 4 places, and Denzel Agius will be in 12th. Steve Farrell will be 13th, and Sheldon Muscat, started 4th, finishes in 14th. Bart Shembry will be 15th, and Brandon Bonello, we saw that crash at the start of the race, having to take a fast repair with Ian Dimitri will finish on the end there in 17th. They both had to take fast repairs after getting caught up in that early accident.
A tough day at the office for many, but it's a good day at the office for a number of drivers out there. We're going to take the chance first and talk to your race one winner, who's here with us, Mikhail Mercheka, who is along with us right now. Mikhail, I think that is the perfect start to the SIMAGIC F4 series here with us on Velocity Esports Racing. But you had to be really switched on in that race one to get yourself the timing, the poise, the positioning to hold some very talented Maltese drivers behind you.
Yeah, of course. Obviously, when it comes to F4, everyone here it's too much close in terms of pace, so you need to think it through. You don't need to rush in the first few moments. So then that's what happened. The two guys in front of me, they collided, and I managed to keep my nerve and keep calm. Managed to get away with the win.
Yeah, you'll be very happy with that. That race two, though, I think was set by the fact that you had to get by Jaden a little early on. It created the gap for you to really have to fight. So it left you there with Aaron and Dean fighting for the podium. It looked like, at least from our view, you tried every which way to get that pass done, but he seemed to have the answers for you there.
Yeah, of course. That's the nice thing about a feature race. I mean, or a reverse grid in that case. In terms of the spectacle, it's nicer, but for me it was a bigger challenge trying to get ahead of the other guys. Yeah, when it comes to battling with Aaron and Dean, the long straight, there's nothing you can do. Like, there's a guy trying to attack you. You're trying to attack the guy ahead, and I was just trying to keep it on the track and at least walk away with some decent points, because that's what matters at the end.
Those points are going to be important for you heading to Okayama for the second round of the championship. It's going to feel a little bit more closed off than what we've seen at the Hockenheim ring. Are you expecting that one to be a close quarters battle where qualifying is going to be even more important there?
I think it's quite similar to Hockenheim. Like, you'll go with those twisty turns, and then you got one big straight at the end, and the back straight coming up before the hairpin. So it's quite similar. So I think it will be much of the same. I think because everyone here is so much close that you never know. We might have a different grid results next round. So anything can happen, I think.
Anything can, and it usually does in sim racing. Mika Mercieka, a first and a fourth here today to say brilliant stuff out there. Craig King has wandered down the paddock. It's 2 podiums today for Dean Vella.
Yeah, if the numbers are right, it's the championship leader after 1 week, Dean Vella. It looked a very tense first race there. We were just talking to Macau. Very tough to make some overtakes there, but you're able to hold your own there in the first race.
Yeah, I think it was really a big defensive race overall. At times, there wasn't much I could do, especially out of the draft, since it's so powerful here, especially in the straight before the chicane. So it was very, very intense. Obviously, I apologize to Jake for the collision we had. I think it was a bit of a racing incident, but at the end of the day, I didn't go wide enough to avoid his understeer, so it is what it is. But I think it's still a good haul of points and a good showing at the end of the day.
Yeah, and of course, we talk about the P3 there, the P2 there, the P3 in the second race. Was that happier for you because you had to do a lot of work at the start of that race, up 4 places to make that podium, and then having to be the defender instead of being the attacker that time. So, what was easier for you, the attacking or the defending?
Good question. Honestly, I think both are very difficult on this track, but I think the defending is a bit easier. There are certain lines you can take where you can really put the guy at the back at a disadvantage. So, yeah, I think that attacking was definitely on the harder side. And I was a bit annoyed that the front two were having a race of their own. Obviously, with drag and very slipstream, you can kind of take off. But I'm happy for my teammate as well for his P2. But yeah, it was a hard race as well.
Well, we go from a hard track to another challenging track next week. Okayama is going to provide something a little bit different to what we had today, but your thoughts on what is usually a very twisty and challenging track next week?
Honestly, I haven't driven the track in ages, to be honest. I know it's a good one, for sure. I always enjoy Okayama when I used to drive on it, so I'm just excited to get back into the practice for Okayama and see what's in store next race.
Well, Dean, congratulations on the 2 podiums. We look forward to seeing you at Okayama next time by. A P2 and a P3 for Dean Vella out there today, Jake. And I believe you may also have somebody else down on the paddock.
Yeah, I've got Aaron De Battista here with me. 3rd in race 1, 5th in race 2. Aaron, the strength of this field was really shown today in qualifying, how you had so many quick drivers within such a close amount of time together. Did that create this cauldron of, I've got to be aggressive, I've got to go find passes, I've got to go make moves over the course of both races tonight?
Honestly, well, you have to find the moves. Obviously, as you said, it's really tight field, so technically where you're going to find the moves is a big factor. Obviously, you have to take into consideration that everyone's fighting in the front, so you really have to plan it out well. I was planning out that someone makes a mistake, because obviously they're fast. I'm not going to expect them to leave the door open, obviously. But it did not pay well-ish, but I think I'm happy with the result. Honestly, I wasn't expecting me to be at the top, if I'm completely honest with you. So I think I'm happy with the result.
For you and the Intercomp VMD team, obviously you've got some very, very talented drivers in and around you, and you very much had a number up there trying to fight and go and get victories and podiums, but it very much looked like for the majority of your night, you were basically the third wheel to the battle that went on in front. How tough is it to be third in the train trying to make these passes when car in front of you's got tow as well?
Well, as you said, he's when the car in front of you is attacking, you cannot really do much. You have to try to take the better exit. Obviously, as it happened multiple times when there was Dean and Mikhail in front of me, they were always side by side, so I couldn't really do a move. I just focused on the exit, but that didn't even play out well. And then I tried in the end just to maybe get a move, but I think it wasn't successful either. So I was happy with where I was, and I just took the points. And hopefully the other races I can be that half a tenth, because that's the gap, a half a tenth faster than the others.
What do you think you need to do to find that half a tenth then at Okayama next time out?
Just perfecting every apex pretty much. You cannot be you're fast, but you're never really that fast that you're confident enough to go and take pole. You're always at that dilemma: who's faster, who's gonna be better, because as I said, the field is very tight, so it's really a question mark who's going to be on pole. It could be me, it could be Dean, it could be Mika, it could be anyone, because there was like within 5 tenths, like the top 10, so anyone can have a good day and just puts it on pole, and it would be like, okay, he puts it on pole and you have a different driver who's on pole, which potentially could be better at defending or better at attacking. So it's really a question mark, really. So you just have to basically play the cards that you're dealt, and then move on regarding how the race transforms pretty much.
Well, I would say keep the points, bank them, and do what you can to move over to Okayama and really give us a great show. Aaron De Battista there joining us and getting a 3rd and a 5th over the course of his running. Now, Craig, let's take a look at this calendar before we put things over to the end, because Okayama comes along. It'll be in 2 weeks in June, and then look at that for a calendar run. It's 4 races in 4 weeks. That is what we call a gauntlet.
And what a gauntlet as well. Navarra, very underrated track, and it's a speed circuit. That's going to be a lot of interest, a lot of battles on the slipstream, trying to find your places. Then you come to Gilles Villeneuve. Will we see the championship leader hit the wall of champions? You never know. Ending up on the iconic Snetterton full layout, aka 300. That's one I always love to circle. I'm a huge fan of Snetterton. That's going to really decide things, because you go from all these open high-speed tracks with slipstreaming to Snetterton, which is the complete opposite. There's only 2 straights there at Snetterton, and everything else is so tight and twisty. What a calendar they've got lined up for them.
Absolutely. You can catch it here on Velocity Esports Racing, which is brought to you in collaboration with Motors Inc., Intercomp, Monster Energy, Brand Garage, Level Academy, and the specialist here. Your SIMAGIC F4 series has been, simply put, magical to start things off. From Craig King, from Christian deployed behind the scenes, my name is Jake Sperry. Sometimes this is about a championship that says there is one true contender up at the top. And I argue here for this championship this time around, there are several that could walk away with this championship depending on how the deck of cards will fall. But the first tranche out there of your house of cards has now been laid, and it's laid in the hands of some very talented drivers, the likes of Mika Murcieka, Jake Samet, Dean Vella. They know they've got a good strong foundation after that opening round. It's just a case of, can they go and master it and gain some more out there on their near rivals, as we head over to the former TIADA circuit. Over to Japan we go in 2 weeks' time, and we will see you at Okayama.
This is the iconic oven-baked cheesy crick snack you've always loved. And this, it's Cricks too. Can you spot the difference? No? That's because there isn't one. Cricks still has the same irresistible crunchy goodness, wrapped in a stylish new packet. Same delicious flavor, brand new look. So snack lovers, get ready to spot Cricks in the snack aisle. Cricks, same iconic taste, new stylish pack. Now in sharing pack size.
Bye.